Facing the currents of modernity now, the food industry is also faced with issues related to Al-Najs. As Muslims, it is very important for us to focus on this issue. Hence, the five of us will delve into some of the issues that often raise question marks among us.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Nur Aila Natasha binti Mama Azam. So now for the first issue regarding about the istihalah, the uses of pork-based gelatin in the food industry. So firstly, we need to understand what is gelatin and what is istihalah. Gelatin mainly derived from the animal collagen. It commonly extracted from the pig skin and bones, cattle hide, bones and connective tissue of other animals such as fish. Gelatin also has been used in the production of bread, jams, pudding, ice cream, as an emulsifier and stabilizer. Also, approximately 80% of gelatin nowadays is coming from pork-based gelatin. What istihalah? Istihalah is the transformation process from Najs of haram material into the permissible material, the resulting complete transformation chemically and physically. Also, Muslim jurists opine two opinion of the view on the application of the istihalah. Firstly, according to the Maliki, Hanafi and Zahiri school of thought, the application of istihalah can be used in a variety of contexts, extensively in natural and synthetic transformation. For example, it is considered halal if wine is fermented to be vinegar naturally or synthetically. But for the second opinion, based on the Shafi'i and Hanbali school of thought, stated that to restrict the application of istihalah to a specific problem. They only acknowledge natural transformation process with no interference with the synthetic process. Therefore, the first opinion is more fitting in this issue since the application of istihalah happen chemically and physically. However, the research that made by Muhammad Isaac Jamaluddin 2011 stated that the chemical structure that contain amino acid of DNA peak is remain unchanged. Therefore, the uses of pork-based gelatin is unacceptable in Islam. Even though there are some Muslim scholars that permitted it. So here there is a khilaf opinion happening in Muslim scholars. As stated in the Surah Al-Baqarah verse 173, meaning Allah only forbid you to eat carrion, blood and also pork. Regarding to this Quranic verse, it clearly stated that consuming pig is prohibited because pig is fall into the Mukhalazah Najs. And therefore, we as a good Muslim, we need to consume what is good and what is clearly halal, and we need to avoid any haram and doubtful things. As stated in the hadith, what is halal is clear, what is haram is clear, and between them is the doubtful thing, and many of us don't know about it. So that's all about me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I am Nur Atika. I will be presenting about an issue of blood plasma in food. In human blood and other vertebrates, the red fluids consist of red blood cell, blood plasma, platelet, white blood cell. Blood plasma is the major element in blood. The industries add the blood plasma as food additive in their food products. Usually, the blood plasma is in powder form as it had been dehydrated. The source of the blood are obtained from slaughterhouses. These are the example of blood plasma in food: sausages, crab stick, fish ball, and minced beef. To conclude, all the food products that use blood plasma are called as surimi products. Usually, these surimi products are made from fish fillet. However, the fish fillet is lack of thickening and low viscosity. Thus, by adding the blood plasma, this problem can be overcome. Moving to the hukum of consuming blood plasma in food. Based on the Quran, in Surah Al-An'am verses 145, Allah has stated that the flowing blood, swine, and carcasses are prohibited to eat unless a person is in darurah. Besides, in Islamic jurisprudence, which is when mixed between halal and haram or mubah and haram, the haram should be exceeded. There is also a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, which is when mixed between halal and haram, the haram exceeded the halal. To conclude, the use of blood plasma is categorized as istihala fasidah, where the outcomes are turned into haram products. For example, fish ball. Even the origin of the product, which is the dough, is halal, but the changing agent is blood plasma is haram. Thus, it made the end product, which is the fish ball, is haram. It is because at the final products, the haram substances, which is the blood plasma, is still exists in the food. That's all from me. Thank you.
Alright, I'm Nur Alim Irdina. I will continue on the next issue on najis in the food industry, which is on the use of L-cysteine in foods. So, what is L-cysteine? L-cysteine is an additive that is non-essential amino acids and is the basic ingredient of protein. It is labeled with the code E920 and used in most bakery products as a baking agent. L-cysteine is also widely used in food processing, especially to help in softening bread. Next is about how the additive is produced. Although most amino acids are commonly produced by bacterial fermentation, cysteine is one of the few for which there are no effective fermentation methods yet. So the major industrial methods for producing cysteine includes these two ways, as you can see here. The first one is biotechnological process or biosynthetic, which is from inorganic sources such as petroleum through enzymatic conversion, and the second one is by protein hydrolysis. Through protein hydrolysis, cysteine is produced from keratin, and the sources of keratin are from the human hair or animal fur such as dog feathers, swine bristles, hog hair, and hooves. It is said that the sources of L-cysteine from the human hair is much cheaper and contains 8% of the natural amino acid cysteine. It is also estimated that the hog hair to be the source of 90% of the Chinese L-cysteine supply. Lastly is the hukum or the law on the use of L-cysteine from human hair or animal fur. According to the Islamic law, every part of the human being is forbidden to be eaten by Muslim. Thus, the halal food sector, according to the halal standards, human hair is haram to be used. So it is considered as najis. Next is the animal fur. According to the decision of the Muzakara Council of the National Fatwa Committee, they had decided that the law of using animal fur that is taken from a halal animal as a food ingredient is mubah, which means it is permitted whether it is taken alive or after slaughtering based on the Islamic law. This consensus of scholars is based on the general verses of the Quran in Surah An-Nahl verse 80. To summarize, the use of L-cysteine as an additive that is taken from the human hair or from the non-halal animal's fur is considered as najis and are prohibited. The only permissible L-cysteine is that are taken from halal animal or produced by other methods such as fermentation. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Ani Zakira, and now I would like to present about the use of non-Sharia slaughtered animals. This issue should not be taken lightly because everything that is eaten will be a flesh and blood, so it is very important to ensure its purity. So first, what is meant by animals slaughtered according to Sharia? In this issue of slaughtering animals according to Sharia, it is closely linked to the halal of a meal. If the method of slaughtering the animal is incorrect, so it becomes unclean and haram for us to feed. As a result, it is important for us to understand what is meant by Sharia-compliant animal slaughter. There are 4 things that we need to know about animal that need to be slaughtered according to Sharia, which is first, the animal to be slaughtered is an animal that is halal to eat. Second, the animal is cut off its neck with a sharp tool. Third, to hasten the bleeding and death of animal, the slaughtered act will sever the trachea, which is halqum, esophagus, which is mari, and all carotid and jugular veins, which is known as wadajain. And fourth, the person who slaughters is a Muslim or Ahlul Kitab, and the slaughterer does not mention other than the name of Allah. The issue of slaughter is also mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 3, which emphasizes the need for the slaughter to be done in the name of Allah. Next is the issue of the use of animals that are not slaughtered according to the Sharia in the food industry. Is both unethical and unclean, allowing the halal status of the animals meat to be doubted. The use of animals slaughtered outside of Sharia is also linked to a topic that received a lot of attention in December 2020, which is halal meat cartel. This has caused Muslim Malaysians to be concerned about the halal status of the meat. The operation is thought to have been carried out during the last few years by using the factory to create false labels and stamps that will be pasted on repackaged crates of meat before being sold as a halal meat in the local market. The meat came from 4 different countries, which is China, Ukraine, Brazil, and also Argentina. Based on this issue, it shows that Muslims must always be careful and always focus on Sharia rulings related to halal and haram and become extremely cautious and conscientious. That's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fikri Ismail. I will present you about the issue of alcohol use in the food process. To say alcohol beverages, the term of alcohol and alcoholic beverages are one of the things confused with each other. Alcoholic beverages are drink that contain ethanol, since the chemical structure of ethanol has hydroxyl group. Therefore, ethanol is significantly is classified as an alcohol which belongs to long list of organic compounds commonly used in the different fields of flavoring, coloring, and medicine. The main sources of ethanol for human consumption are: firstly, beer. It contains between 3.3% and 7% ethanol and several compounds with antioxidant properties. It is the most consumed beverage worldwide, especially in Europe, North America, Australia, and several African countries. The second one is wine. It contains ethanol varies from 9% to 50%. Wine is consumed mainly in Europe and the Americas, Australia, and Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile. Red wine has significant amount of resveratrol and antioxidant which is derived from the skin of grape and seems to have anti-cancer properties. The third one is spirits. This drink contains between 5% and 50% of ethanol, although some reach even higher values since they are obtaining distillation. Spirits include whiskey, vodka, grappa, gin, and tequila, among others. They are consumed primarily in ASEAN and Europe. Okay, I will. Okay, next is ethanol in vinegar. Vinegar is described as a sour liquid and has been widely used in the food industry. It's produced from a different natural substrate like fruit with a good fermentation potential. Two fermentation process. Firstly, is the first carbohydrate are fermented into the alcohol. Then the ethanol is further oxidized to produce acetic acid. Ethanol in the fruit. Ethanol is contained in the fresh fruit and increased by time due to the anaerobic fermentation of the sugar. Ethanol contains unripe and ripe hanging palm fruit forever free fallen from what's determined. Next is halal status of ethanol. With regard to vinegar's halal status, in the general, it is halal and recommended by the Prophet. In a hadith narrated by Aisyah, Muslim, and Ibn Majah, Prophet Muhammad SAW said, Allah has put blessing in the vinegar, for truly used in the Prophet before me. When vinegar ethanol content reach 1%, which the rare exception when vinegar is halal as long as there is no deliberate treatment to introduce to the composition of ethanol, into the acetic acid. Thank you.
So as the conclusion part, it is stated as below. We need to be a knowledgeable person, understanding and meticulously in everything we do. And lastly, you are what you eat, so eat right. So that's all from us.